We've all been there. You walk through those giant sliding doors, and before you even reach the electronics or the 5-pound bags of kale, it hits you. That smell. It's the scent of warm butter, melting chocolate, and freshly baked bread that seems to pull you toward the back of the warehouse like a magnet. The Costco bakery is arguably the soul of the entire store, but most of us just grab a pack of muffins and a rotisserie chicken and call it a day. However, if you look a little closer, there is an entire world of insider secrets, hidden hacks, and pro-level shopping tips that the average member completely misses. We're talking about ways to save even more money, how to get items that aren't even on the shelves, and the truth behind why some of these treats taste way better than they have any right to. Today, we're diving deep into the 12 secrets of the Costco bakery you'll wish you knew sooner, and trust me, by the time we're done, your next grocery run is going to look a lot different. Before we reveal the first game changer, if you love finding the best deals and insider shopping tips, go ahead and hit that subscribe button and ring the bell so you never miss a way to save. First, let us talk about the absolute icon of the bakery section, the Kirkland Signature Croissant. You've seen them in those big plastic containers, perfectly golden and flaky, but there's a reason these aren't your average grocery store pastries. In 2024 alone, Costco sold nearly 500 million of these things, and it's not just because of the price. The secret lies in the fat content. Most traditional bakeries use a butterfat percentage of around 78 to 80%, but Costco actually uses 82% butterfat. This might sound like a small technicality, but in the world of pastry, that extra 2% is everything. It's what gives them that rich, Parisian-level flavor and that specific melt-in-your-mouth texture. Each croissant is made of 72 delicate layers, and here is the kicker: 36 of those layers are pure butter. Because they are baked fresh in the warehouse every single day, the quality can actually vary slightly depending on the proofing process at your specific location. If you've ever noticed the croissants at one Costco look a little fluffier or larger than another, it's likely because the baker at that location let them rest just a bit longer before they hit the oven. To get the absolute best ones, don't just grab the first container you see. Pro shoppers know to reach for the packages at the very bottom and toward the back of the shelf. That's where the newest, freshest batches are usually placed, as the older stock is rotated to the front. Second, if you've ever found yourself wishing you could have that warm, straight out of the oven Costco cookie experience at home without having to bake from scratch, there is a legendary hidden menu item you need to know about. It's the frozen cookie dough hack. You know those 24-count packs of cookies in the bakery? They're delicious, but they start to lose their crunch after a day or two. Well, at many locations, and especially at Costco business centers, you can actually request a full case of 120 frozen cookie dough pucks. As of late 2025, the price for a full box of 120 is roughly $32, which brings your cost down to about 27 cents per cookie. That is nearly half the price of the pre-baked ones. You want to find these sitting out on the floor, you usually have to find a bakery employee and ask if they have any frozen cases available for purchase. They come in a massive box separated by parchment paper, meaning you can just pull out 2 or 3 cookies at a time, pop them in your air fryer or oven, and have a perfect, gooey treat in about 15 minutes. This is a total lifesaver for holiday parties, school bake sales, or just for those Tuesday nights when you really need a cookie hit. Just make sure you've cleared out some serious room in your freezer before you bring that box home. Third, we have to talk about the time machine of the bakery department, the cake ordering kiosk. In an era where you can order almost anything from your phone with a single tap, the Costco sheet cake ordering process is famously and almost charmingly old-fashioned. For decades, the only way to get one of their legendary half-sheet cakes was to walk to the back of the store, find the wooden kiosk that looks like it belongs in the 1980s, and fill out a paper form with a ballpoint pen. While many members have begged for an online system, Costco has traditionally kept it manual to manage the sheer volume of orders. However, there is a big secret developing here in 2025. Costco has finally started testing online custom cake ordering in select markets, specifically on the West Coast. If you live in one of these chosen areas, you might see a custom cake ordering button right in the Costco app under the Warehouse tab. For the rest of us, we're still stuck with the paper slips. But here's the secret. Even though the prices for these cakes ticked up slightly this year to around $28 for a half sheet, they are still the undisputed value kings. That cake weighs 9 pounds, 2 of which are just the cheesecake mousse filling. If you want to make your life easier when the party starts, you can actually write a note on your order form asking the baker to score the cake for you. They use buttercream to create faint lines that mark exactly where to cut, ensuring you get 48 perfect, equal slices every time. Fourth, if you're a fan of the seasonal pumpkin pie, you might be surprised to learn just how much preparation goes into that single item. Costco sells about 9 million pumpkin pies a year, with a staggering 3 million of those flying off the shelves in the 3 days right before Thanksgiving. To keep up with that demand without sacrificing quality, the bakery buyers actually purchase the pumpkin puree a full year in advance. They don't just buy it and use it, they put it in storage to age. This aging process allows the pumpkin fibers to fully absorb the water content, which is why the Costco pumpkin pie has that specific, thick, custard-like consistency that doesn't get watery or soggy. Every single pie is made from scratch in the warehouse, and they are massive, weighing in at nearly 4 pounds. Because they don't use preservatives, these pies have a shorter shelf life than the processed ones you'd find at a typical grocery store. If you find yourself with leftovers, don't let them sit on the counter. Because of the high egg and dairy content in the custard, they need to be refrigerated, but they also freeze surprisingly well. You can slice the leftovers, wrap them tightly in plastic, and enjoy a piece of Thanksgiving in the middle of January. Speaking of things that are made from scratch, you might have noticed a shift in the muffin section recently. For the longest time, Costco muffins were famously giant, so big they could practically be considered 2 servings each. While the size is still impressive, the bakery actually made a strategic move by switching to slightly different pans recently. This wasn't just about the muffins, though it was a secret unlock for a brand new item. By standardizing the muffin pan size, the bakery was able to free up enough labor and equipment space to finally introduce in-house cupcakes. These cupcakes use the exact same high-quality cake batter and mousse fillings as the famous sheet cakes, but in a much more portable format. It's a classic example of how the Costco bakery is constantly tweaking its behind-the-scenes logistics to give us more variety without raising the membership price. If you're enjoying these insider looks at your favorite warehouse, this is a great time to share this video with a fellow Costco enthusiast. They definitely thank you for the cookie dough tip. We're just getting started with the secrets, so stick around because the next few are going to change the way you look at the bread aisle forever. Fifth, let us get into a secret that's going to make your kitchen smell like a professional French boulangerie without you having to touch a rolling pin. We already talked about the frozen cookie dough, but did you know the frozen case trick extends to the bread aisle too? Many people don't realize that the Costco Artisan baguettes and many of their savory rolls arrive at the warehouse par-baked. This means they are about 80 to 90% cooked and then flash frozen. The bakery team then finishes them off in their massive steam injection ovens to get that signature crackly crust. Here's the insider move. If you talk to the bakery manager, you can often buy a full box of these par-baked loaves or rolls while they are still frozen. Since they haven't gone through the final bake in the store, they are much cheaper and they last for months in your freezer. When you're ready for dinner, you just pop a frozen baguette into your oven at 400 degrees for about 8 to 10 minutes. You get that incredible fresh from the oven steam and crunch that you just can't get from a loaf that's been sitting in a plastic bag on a shelf all day. It's the ultimate life hack for hosting dinner parties or just elevating a basic weeknight soup. Sixth, we need to address the freshness window and what actually happens to the items that don't sell. Unlike many grocery stores that leave bread on the shelf until the very last second or slap a manager's special sticker on it to squeeze out a few cents, Costco has some of the strictest pull dates in the entire industry. Most bakery items are pulled from the shelves a full 24 to 48 hours before their actual best buy date. This ensures that every single thing a member buys is at its absolute peak. But here is the secret: Costco doesn't just throw that food away. They have a massive partnership with local food banks and organizations like Feeding America. In fact, in 2025, Costco is on track to donate over 100 million pounds of food, a huge portion of which comes straight from the bakery. So, if you're ever worried about the waste associated with those massive quantities, rest assured that those day-old muffins and bagels are usually headed to a local shelter or food pantry the very same evening they are pulled. However, because they pull items so early, you can often find the freshest batches being wheeled out on giant metal racks around 10 a.m. and again at 3 p.m. If you see a baker pushing a rack toward the floor, that is your signal to wait a minute. You're about to get the pick of the litter. Seventh, let us talk about the viral item phenomenon that has taken over the bakery in the last year. If you've been on social media at all lately, you've probably seen the absolute frenzy over the 5-pound peanut butter chocolate cream pie or the massive lemon raspberry cake that dropped for the 2025 summer season. The secret here is all about the limited time offering, or LTO strategy. Costco uses the bakery as a testing ground for trends. They monitor what people are talking about online and then release these heavy-hitter desserts that are designed to be shared. The secret to snagging these viral items is all in the timing. These special releases usually have a very short run, sometimes as little as 4 to 6 weeks. Because the ingredients are sourced in such massive quantities to keep the price down, once the supply of a specific ingredient, like the specific raspberry puree used in the 2025 cakes, runs out, the item vanishes. If you see something new and hyped in the bakery, do not tell yourself you'll get it next time. There might not be a next time. These items are also usually produced in smaller batches throughout the day to maintain quality, so if the shelf is empty, it's worth asking an employee if there's another tray cooling in the back. Often, they'll bring one out just for you. Before we move on to the 8th secret, I want to take a second to thank you guys for watching. If you're finding these tips helpful, make sure to give this video a thumbs up. It really helps the channel out and lets me know you want more of these deep dives into your favorite stores. And if you've ever found a hidden gem in the Costco bakery that I haven't mentioned yet, drop a comment below. I love hearing about your personal finds. 8th, let us pull back the curtain on the ingredients. One of the biggest reasons people prefer Costco's bakery over other big box retailers is a secret they don't exactly advertise on the packaging: the lack of filler fats and artificial stabilizers. Take the Kirkland signature cheesecake, for example. In the commercial baking world, it's very common to use cheesecake base or vegetable oil blends to keep costs down and extend shelf life. Costco doesn't do that. Their recipe is famously simple: real cream cheese, real sugar, and real eggs. The same goes for their whipped cream. Many grocery store cakes use a non-dairy whipped topping, which is essentially just hydrogenated oil and corn syrup because it's more stable and doesn't melt as easily. Costco, however, uses real heavy cream for their frostings and fillings. This is why their cakes need to stay refrigerated and why they taste so much richer. The secret pro tip here is for the home decorators out there. Because Costco uses high-quality buttercream and real cream fillings, their plain, blank cakes, which you can often find in the refrigerated case, are the perfect canvas. You can buy a pre-iced round cake for a fraction of what a custom bakery would charge, take it home, and add your own fresh fruit or flowers. You're getting professional-grade ingredients at a warehouse price, and your guests will think you spent a fortune at a boutique shop. 9th, we have to talk about the bagel boiled versus steamed debate. There is a very specific reason why Costco bagels have that chewy, authentic texture that you usually only find in a New York deli. Most grocery store bagels are actually just bread shaped like a circle and then steamed in an oven. This makes them soft and fluffy, but it's not a true bagel. Costco, on the other hand, uses a boiled process. The dough rings are briefly submerged in boiling water before they hit the oven, which gelatinizes the starch on the outside and creates that iconic tug when you bite into it. But here's the secret: the bagels are sold in 2 packs for a reason. Because they are made with real ingredients and no heavy preservatives, they will start to go stale or even grow mold faster than the highly processed brands. The secret hack to keeping them fresh is to slice the entire bag the second you get home and freeze them immediately. You can pop a frozen, pre-sliced bagel directly into the toaster, and it will taste exactly like it was just pulled from the rack. This is also the best way to prevent that bagel brick situation where the whole bag goes hard before you can finish the second sleeve. 10th, let's look at the unit price illusion. Costco is famous for its more is more philosophy, but in the bakery, the real secret is the price per pound comparison. If you look at the 2025 prices for a pack of 6 giant muffins, which currently sit around $9.99, for 2 packs you're getting about 3 pounds of food. If you were to go to a standard grocery store or a coffee shop, you'd likely pay $4 to $5 for a single muffin that is half the size. The secret isn't just that it's cheaper, it's that the bakery operates on what is known as a loss leader or low-margin model. Just like the $1.50 hot dog or the $4.99 rotisserie chicken, the bakery isn't necessarily where Costco makes its big profits. It's there to get you into the building. Because of this, the quality of the ingredients often exceeds the price point. If you're ever trying to decide between buying a treat at the grocery store or waiting for your Costco run, always wait. The secret value of the bakery is that you are essentially getting high-end catering quality at wholesale prices because they know that once you've picked up those muffins, you're probably going to go buy a new TV or a set of tires. We've covered everything from frozen dough hacks to the science of the pumpkin pie, but we're just scratching the surface of the inner circle knowledge. In the final part of this video, we're going to talk about the one item you should never buy if you're on a diet, the secret way to get retired bakery items, and the #1 mistake members make when shopping the bakery section. You don't want to miss these last few tips, so stay tuned. 11th, we need to have a serious heart-to-heart about the item that is arguably the biggest trap in the entire warehouse, the muffins. We all love them, and at roughly $1 per muffin when you buy the 2 packs, they feel like the ultimate breakfast deal. But here is the secret. Your waistline really wishes you knew a single Costco poppy seed or chocolate chunk muffin contains upwards of 700 calories and nearly 40 grams of fat. In the nutrition world, these aren't actually muffins, they are essentially cake loaves shaped like breakfast food. Because they are so massive, most people eat a whole one in one sitting, not realizing they've just consumed the caloric equivalent of 3 standard bakery muffins. In 2025, with more people becoming health conscious, Costco has actually started testing mini muffin packs in some regions to combat this, but the big boys still reign supreme. The secret hack here is the quartering method. If you can't resist that 6-pack, cut each muffin into quarters the moment you get home. It sounds extreme, but a quarter of a Costco muffin is actually the size of a normal muffin you'd get anywhere else. Wrap those quarters individually and freeze them. It's the only way to enjoy the bakery's most famous item without accidentally sabotaging your entire week's diet in one breakfast. 12th, let us talk about the ghost of bakery past, the secrets of discontinued and resurrected items. If you've been a member for a long time, you probably still have a hole in your heart where the all-American chocolate cake used to be. It was a massive, 7-pound beast that was discontinued during the pandemic, much to the heartbreak of thousands. But here is the insider's secret. Costco listens to the data. When an item is discontinued, it's often because the labor cost to produce it became too high, not because people stopped buying it. However, if the demand is vocal enough, they almost always bring it back in a modified way. For example, in late 2024 and moving into 2025, we saw the return of the chocolate cake in the form of the chocolate fudge cake. It's slightly smaller and easier for the bakers to assemble, but the flavor profile is nearly identical. The same thing happened with the almond poppy seed muffins and the snickerdoodle mini cakes. The secret to knowing what's coming back is to keep an eye on the deleted status. If you see an item disappear and the price tag has an asterisk on it, it's officially gone for now. But if the item just vanishes without an asterisk on its last known tag, it's often just hibernating while they source cheaper ingredients or more efficient packaging. If you really miss an item, the best thing you can do is fill out one of those "tell us what you think" cards near the exit. Those cards are digitized and sent to corporate buyers. Enough requests for the return of the apple crumb muffin or the churros actually can and do change the menu. As we wrap up this deep dive into the back of house secrets, there is one final master secret that ties everything together, and it's the number one mistake that even veteran shoppers make. Most people think they are being savvy by looking for the baked on date and trying to find a cake or loaf of bread that was pulled out of the oven 5 minutes ago. But here is the truth straight from the decorators. For certain items, especially the cakes and cheesecakes, freshly baked is actually a myth you want to avoid. Cakes are much easier to slice, and the flavors are far more set after they have been refrigerated for at least 24 hours. When a cake is brand new, the mousse filling is often too soft, leading to a slumped look once you get it home in a warm car. The bakers actually prefer to work with cake layers that have been flash frozen because it locks in the moisture and prevents the sponge from tearing during the icing process. So, don't be afraid of the items that were baked yesterday. In many cases, they're actually in their prime. Beyond the dates and the ingredients, the biggest secret of all is simply the relationship you have with the staff. The people behind the counter at the Costco bakery are some of the hardest working individuals in the retail world. They start their shifts at 4 a.m., often in freezing temperatures, to make sure those croissants are ready for you. If you're looking for a specific item that is out of stock, or if you want to know if the peppermint bark is coming back early this year, just be kind and ask. They often have the production schedule printed out and can tell you exactly when the next batch of your favorite treat is hitting the floor. The Costco bakery is more than just a place to get cheap bread. It's a masterclass in logistics, quality control, and hidden value. From the 82% butterfat in the croissants to the secret boxes of frozen cookie dough, now you have the keys to the kingdom. Next time you walk through those doors and that smell of fresh bread hits you, you'll know exactly which shelf to reach for and which items to ask for by name. If you enjoyed this look behind the scenes, make sure to like this video and share it with your favorite shopping partner. It's been a blast sharing these secrets with you, and I can't wait to hear about your next bakery haul in the comments. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.